The peak of hype around Declan Rice is obviously that Champions League quarter-final night against Real Madrid. Two direct free kicks, both absolutely screwed into the corner, and within minutes your entire feed was basically just Declan Rice in all caps. And a lot of people had the same reaction. Wait, you're only noticing him now? Because the truth is, Rice had been playing at an elite level for years at West Ham. It's just that the spotlight wasn't always on him. The Real Madrid game didn't create Declan Rice, it simply confirmed what many already knew. He's a top player. You don't even need to drown in stats or tactical jargon to get it. 2 Man of the Match awards tell you enough. And the free kicks themselves are symbolic. Before that night, Arsenal hadn't scored a direct free kick since 2021. Rice was more known as a delivery guy. Corners, crosses, set-piece service. Not as a dead ball sniper, but in the biggest moment, with the whole stadium holding its breath, he stepped up and delivered twice. That's what elite players do. They take responsibility, and they execute. What's up, friends? You're on Football Frenzy. Today we're breaking down how a kid Chelsea released without much emotion grew into a captain at another London club, and then became quite possibly the most complete midfielder in the entire Premier League. Drop a like if you're locked in. You already know the deal. Let's get into it. Declan Rice's career is basically a long proof of one thing. He never stops improving, no matter the conditions. As a kid, everything looked smooth. At 7 years old, he impressed Chelsea on trial so much that they took him into what was probably the best academy in England at the time. He grew up alongside Mason Mount, Reece James, and a whole generation of future stars. Collecting youth trophies and looking like a name you'd see on the first team bench sooner rather than later. Then reality hit at 16. Rice had a huge growth spurt and suddenly couldn't control his body the same way. He described it perfectly later. I was like Bambi on ice. My body just didn't adapt fast enough, so I couldn't run properly. And that's when Chelsea released him. His dad, Sean Rice, remembers it like a nightmare, driving home thinking how to even tell his son. Declan was sitting on the stairs. One look was enough. Declan ran to his room, heartbroken, crying. And then the story gets weirdly cinematic, except it's real. Declan got a call from John Terry, Chelsea's captain, the club legend. Terry stayed on the phone for about half an hour, talking to a 16-year-old kid, telling him not to stop, not to doubt himself, keep working and keep pushing. Rice later shared that story with The Times, and he remembered it forever. After that, he went on trials at Tottenham, Fulham, West Ham, and chose West Ham. It turned out to be the perfect place for him. At West Ham, he grew again, another 8 centimeters, but the big difference was how the club handled him. More patience, more confidence, more praise for the good moments instead of panic over the rough ones. And because of his size and his reading of the game, early on he was moved deeper into central defense. He did well enough there that he earned his first team debut at 17, 1 minute at the end of the last match of the 2016-17 season. Not much, but it was a door opening. His real Premier League introduction came the next season. West Ham had injuries. Checo Kouyaté and Manuel Lanzini were out, and Slaven Bilic started using Rice as a defensive midfielder. Bilic's first description of him is hilarious in hindsight. He said Rice wasn't fast, wasn't amazing on the ball, but he positioned himself well, anticipated where the ball would land, reacted quickly, and passed it cleanly. That doesn't sound like future £100 million midfield boss. It sounds like solid young guy who won't kill you. And Bilic himself basically admitted it later. He said they thought Rice could become West Ham captain as a center back, like a John Terry type. And then he added bluntly, did he look like a guy who would become one of the best midfielders in the Premier League? No, I won't pretend. Bilic gave him chances, but Rice's early gains as a number 6 weren't smooth. He played cautious, made mistakes, looked unsure. Then again, the whole team was a mess. After a run of bad results, Bilic got sacked. David Moyes came in. Moyes believed in Rice, but used him more conservatively, often as a center back. And toward the end of the season, with injuries to Reed and Collins, Rice became a starting center back again. He still didn't explode. West Ham finished with a modest 42 points, and doubts about his ceiling stayed alive. So alive, in fact, that before the next season, the club was considering sending him out on loan, either to get experience or with one eye on selling him. And here's a comparison that matters. When a club truly knows a young player's special, they protect him like a diamond. They don't even entertain loans. You can't imagine Arsenal loaning out a 19-year-old Bukayo Saka. Never. But Rice? He was that close to becoming a championship midfielder. That doesn't necessarily mean West Ham were bad with youth. It means Rice wasn't a guaranteed superstar. His rise was built on work, growth, stubbornness, and yes, a bit of luck. The living definition of that luck was Manuel Pellegrini. Pellegrini arrived in May 2018 and later said, "The club wanted to send Declan on loan, but I refused because I was sure about his potential." And he was right. Under Pellegrini, Rice became an ironclad starter, and that became his whole career pattern. He plays almost every week, every season, at a high level. Pellegrini didn't give West Ham trophies, but for Rice's development, that period was massive. He trusted him as a starter. He gave him captaincy in a Premier League match, and most importantly, he moved him back into defensive midfield and made him part of build-up play. So when Moyes returned in December 2019, he didn't see a young defender he could rotate. He saw a midfield leader, a guy who could destroy attacks and start them. Rice himself started talking differently too. During the 2021-22 season, he said, "I'm not just a defensive midfielder anymore. I want to see myself as a box-to-box player. Get around the pitch, create chances, and still help defensively." Moyes didn't fully remove him from the number 6 role because Rice was too reliable there. But everyone watching could see it. Rice was taking more responsibility in passing, carrying the ball forward, breaking lines, and doing it so well that he started adding those powerful driving goals. By his final West Ham season, he wasn't just a captain, he was the engine. He led them to their first trophy in 43 years and finished the league campaign looking like one of the most complete midfielders in England. And that leads to the big question. If Rice was already that good at West Ham, could he get even better at Arsenal? Spoiler, yes, he got better. Even with his elite West Ham level, doubts existed. Would he fit in a high-intensity pressing team? Moyes and Southgate often wanted him to hold structure and recover position. Arsenal demand quicker reads, more aggressive triggers, more hunt-the-ball moments. Second, people called him cautious, safe pass merchant, too many sideways balls. But in hindsight, that was partly Moyes' ball, and partly the responsibility Rice carried. When you're the stabilizer, you don't gamble every 10 seconds. At Arsenal, those labels faded fast. Rice reads the game brilliantly. He knows when to sit and protect and when to step up and bite. He makes decisions faster, plays forward more often, and he's confident under pressure. And the set-piece development is the most Rice thing ever. At West Ham, he didn't take corners. At Arsenal, necessity changed that. They needed a left-sided delivery option. Arteta preferred others attacking the box. Rice started working with set-piece specialist Nicolas Jover. Early on, it looked awkward. Then, it started clicking. And now, he's legitimately one of the best in that area. Since joining Arsenal, he's produced 10 assists from set pieces, more than any other Premier League player in that same period. That's Rice in one line. Give him a new job, and he'll grind it until he's elite at it. His role also evolved. In his first season at the Emirates, he mostly played as the holding midfielder. Now, he's a true 8, giving almost equal value in attack and defense. This season, among Arsenal players, he leads in touches, total passes, progressive passes, passes into the final third, passes that lead to shots, pre-assist actions, and total carry distance into advanced zones. Bonus, in World Cup qualifying, he's creating chances at a level that makes him England's most productive creator. Outside Arteta's system, his class doesn't disappear. So yes, the heart of Arsenal, the on-field dispatcher, and the same goes for England. And if you want to go dramatic, you can picture him becoming for Arsenal what Lampard was for Chelsea, Gerrard for Liverpool, or Scholes for United. But that comparison comes with a condition. Those guys didn't just play well, they owned big moments. Can Rice do that? Without doubt. Take the match at St. James's Park against Newcastle, the kind of game where Arsenal used to struggle physically. Rice was everywhere. In build-up, he dropped between the center backs to help Arsenal escape pressure and allow someone else to receive higher between the lines. Higher up, he attacked second balls when Raya went long. Deeper down, he won his own second balls when Newcastle tried to go direct with Pope, and when Arsenal chased the win late with that ultra-aggressive shape. basically a 2-1-7 at times. Someone had to cover the space behind the madness. It was Rice. He tracked Jacob Murphy, blocked a shot despite starting behind him, and in the 97th minute, he was sprinting past fresh legs like Harvey Barnes. That match ended with Rice leading in touches, passes into the final third, chances created, tackles, recoveries, you name it. And he also got the assist for Mikel Merino's goal. That's a complete midfielder performance. Rice himself said, "Maybe I'm playing the best football of my career. I feel incredible confidence in every training session and every time I step onto the pitch." And Arteta added something that basically sums up the whole story. A year ago, you'd think, this is peak Rice. But being around him every day, Arteta says you can expect more, because Rice demands more from himself. And his role keeps growing. And when Arteta talks about influence, it's not just passing angles and tackles, it's leadership. Being a leader at West Ham is hard. Being a leader at Arsenal, with the microscope, the pressure, the expectations, is another world. Rice has proved he can carry that weight. There was that stretch last season when Arsenal lost their main attackers to injuries, went 2 games without scoring, and started to wobble. Rice responded by taking more responsibility, scored twice and added an assist over the next few games. And against Manchester United, another traditionally tricky match, he scored again while leading in recoveries, carries, touches in the box, and making constant off-ball runs to offer himself. That's what leadership looks like. You don't hide, you step into the noise. Even in the Bayern match, another man of the match, we saw it again. Rice could press man-to-man or sit zonal and win the ball from structure. He made the key interception before Arsenal's second goal, dominated second balls, and in attack, he progressed play instantly under pressure and carried the ball into Bayern's box like a freight train. Only a Neuer save stopped it from getting uglier. And the mindset? That Tottenham clip says everything. Rice yelling, "Let's kill them." That's not nice guy midfielder. That's a competitor. Now, Rice isn't flawless. Nobody is. Against Aston Villa, he made a brilliant tackle before a goal, but still couldn't drag Arsenal through the entire match alone. Against Sunderland, he created a goal, but also made a mistake before the equalizer. So no, he's not Superman. But if there's a quiet, most important player in this Arsenal, one you might not always notice in highlight reels, it's not Saliba, not Saka, not Odegaard. It's Rice, and the best part is he's still getting better. Still adding layers, still taking responsibility, and handling it. Declan Rice's rise into one of the best, maybe the best, central midfielders in the Premier League isn't just about talent. It's about hard work, stubbornness, and character. Remember when people laughed when David Moyes said Rice was worth well over £100 million? Today, you can seriously argue he might be the best over £100 million transfer in football history. Friends, if you enjoyed this special episode, support it with a like and subscribe to Football Frenzy on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. More good football to everyone. Bye.